close about 20 minutes out of surgery for my sinus. I feel okay. I just wanted to say stuff about this thing that I've been thinking about. If you think about patriarchy and feminism and that kind of thing, the nurses are the feminism. Both men and women, both male and female nurses. Because the practice itself, the practice of nursing itself, is a feminist act. If you think about the amount of caring, the amount of knowledge, the amount of support, emotional, physical, mental, that these people, men and women nurses, give to the patients. It's a lot of empathy, it's a lot of selfless acts. The flip side of that, the the other side of this whole situation is what I believe to be the patriarchal entities within healthcare and medical professions. And I see that as the pharmaceutical industry. If you think about that, the quick fix, the expensive fix, the easy way, just pop a pill and it's supposed to be feeling better. It's a very hands-off approach to healing. Doctors are somewhere in the middle, but I see them closer towards feminist than patriarchal, even though the individual doctors themselves could be anything. They could be they could hold up patriarchal traditions for themselves because they tend to be a little bit more ego-driven, especially surgeons. I mean, surgeons are notorious for that. But if you think about the medical industry and how it functions, and you want to try to put some kind of label on these things, the concept of feminism fits very nicely around the caretakers, the immediate caretakers for patients, the nurses. And I've had such wonderful experiences with so many nurses, hundreds and hundreds of nurses, men, female and male nurses. And they practice empathy. They give their time, a little extra time to the patients. It becomes more of a personal bond. And if you look at more at society as a whole, the thing that the things that are really pushing us towards individualism rather than community and kind of creating these boundaries between people, that those are more patriarchal systems or patriarchal entities. Pills, you just go home, have your prescription, you pop a pill. But the nursing, all that stuff, it's more of a holistic approach to healing. They're in your room, they're touching you, and yes, sure, they are dispensing medications, but you can also rely on them for administration help if you're having trouble contacting doctors, or family help. A lot of times they contact your family and they tell them updates. It's just, nurses are just so wonderful. It's hard really even to gauge on, on the importance of what a nurse does. Sometimes they're treated very nicely, sometimes they're not. The problem is if a patient has a bad experience, usually not from nurses directly, they take it out on the nurses. And then one of the things that I wanted to also bring up is the sexualization and fetishization of nurses. I think that's complete bullshit. Fuck Richard Prince for doing what he did. Yeah, maybe those paintings are alright, but visually they're alright, but come on, man. Just like, get your head out of your ass. Nurses are so much more than. I mean, porn does it too with this genre porn where nurses come in and they act kind of bimbo-y and stupid. That's just, I don't even know how that took off. I mean, I get it. The person that's employing that issue, they're kind of run down and weaker, and they need that assistance. Room 3 is ready, whatever that means. Anyways, I think nurses are very much like teachers in the fact that they do probably the most in a medical hospital. Teachers do the most in schools, and they don't get the credit or the compensation that they deserve. It's kind of messed up. I just feel like talking about it because I think it's important to me. At the times that I had my worst problems, physically and even emotionally in hospitals, guess who was there to help most of the time? 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. times when nobody else is around. You just click your buzzer and the nurse comes in. I spent a lot of time with really amazing nurses when I was a kid. They were like second moms. I had like 30 second mothers when I was growing up with so many hospitals, being hospitalized so many times. And I hope that I'm first of all coherent because I'm a little messed up on pain meds and still have some anesthesia because I'm like only like a half hour out of surgery. But also I hope you can hear me and understand me because I'm very nasally and I'm having a great time recovering, and you know why? Well, one is I'm on some good pain meds, but number two, my nurse is really awesome today, and she's really funny, and I can make jokes, and she likes it. And when you can get a laugh, when you can get a laugh, when you can make somebody laugh, it's great. Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. I think it's I've been really thinking a lot about different professions and careers and different industries that kind of lead either towards being feminist industries or more like misogynistic patriarchal industries. And so I just felt prompted to talk about it today because I feel like, well, obviously because I had surgery and I'm going to be having 2 more surgeries in the next 2 weeks. So I'm in and around it. I'm immersed in it. But anything like caring for the body, the human body itself, on an interpersonal level, not a statistical level, not 1 in 10 people have side effects to this drug, not your survival rate or your chance of survival is 60% for this disease. Those type of things are get away from being from the feminist ideal and the feminist feminism. Those are more patriarchal systems of thought, and you know whether I think they're a little bit dangerous, especially in the medical world, healthcare world, because like they pretty much need nothing, you know. Survival rate, like your survival rate is 100% if you survive. It's 0% if you die. Why? What's the, you know what I mean? I think this is one of the great things about some of the programs that Ted Myers is implementing at different, like he did at the past 3-4 years at UCLA and now currently at USC medical schools, bringing this kind of approach to doctors, young doctors, medical students that will be doctors, and trying to get them actually more so in a nursing frame of mind where you're more empathetic, you're more understanding, you spend a little bit more time, even if it's literally 2 minutes more with patients. You get better results, you get healthier people, you get more comfortable people, and most of all, you get people that are more emotionally stable for these medical interventions that they're needing or that they just went through. So recovery can be more efficient and more long-term successful. So great job, Ted Meyer, because he's invited me to do some talks for these programs, and I think it's a really important thing. Even though I never bring up the dichotomy of feminism and patriarchy in my talks, it's just laced with that kind of language, just because that's what it is. I mean, you talk about loving and caring and being there for a patient versus giving them a prescription and sending them home. You can tell the difference right away. You know what I mean? There is two drastic approaches, and I think the U.S. medical system, healthcare system, has gone towards writing a prescription and sending you home far too much and far too deep. And regardless of what our healthcare system is, whether or not Obamacare is repealed and replaced or revised, or either way, whatever happens with that, if we can't get more interpersonal interactions with healthcare, it's never going to be that good for anybody. So anyway, I need to take more pain meds. My face is killing me. Thanks for listening. Bye. No, Dr. Dallas was already out of the room when she told us.